I think maybe you're right. I should probably put an asterisk on my statement that the movie does not let me feel or follow any scene on my own because it forces it along with music or some other kind of use of its editing. The exception to that is any time that they give a scene to Robin Williams. Because
he doesn't have music for his monologue about
right. No, you're right. No, that's what I'm saying is that he's the exception to that, is that he can carry and shift a scene without the filmmaking forcing it along.
Yeah.
That you're right. I was maybe being a little broad with the way I said that because he is the exception to that.
Yes.
And when I watched this, my wife Caitlin, who we always talk about the shit that we watch together, and that she kind of just used the term of like Robin Williams just kind of has that sparkle, where when you look at his face, any emotion he feels, that is all you need.
I think this is this is the best way I can describe it. It's his most lived in role. It's the role that I think.
Yeah, maybe.
It's strange how, like, I don't know how this happened, because I know that there was still some improvisation in this movie, but somehow
of course
this movie feels like maybe he made this choice as an actor, but he gave up a lot of the things, a lot of the comforts that he usually goes to in either his dramatic or his comedic acting. And I think that he kind of relies on, I would argue that he relies on a lot of those tropes in Death to Smoochy. And in this movie, he drops them entirely. And it's his most real and honest. And I think it's well written as well. Like, it's a well written therapist. But I agree with your wife. I feel nothing but warmth towards him. I want to give him in his sweaters just the biggest hug, because he looks like just a giant fuzzy teddy bear. And I love how specific his acting, all the acting in this is so great and very specific. And I love his specific accent choice on hard A's with like cod, Boston, art, ass. Like, his accent comes in. I guess Boston isn't really a hard A, but it's that same sort of like
that vowel. Yeah.
And yeah, his performance is, it's constantly moving in this movie, and especially the scene where he has his monologue. And I do kind of enjoy the monologue aspect of this movie. It's theatrical, but I appreciate the theatrical nature of this film, of just like how characters speak.
It's a little much for me, but I can't call it bad. That's my weird relationship with this. That it's just this thing that as this movie has aged with me, I keep seeing all these things that just feel like some really kind of like, fucking, for lack of a better lack of a better term, art school bullshit that you should be over pretty quickly into your filmmaking career.
Like, in terms of the directing choices, you're saying? The
directing and the overwriting of the screenplay, both things. That, like, the over-obviousness of all the directing and editing, and the over-intensity, the over-focus on the screenplay. And there's little moments where Robin Williams gets to be himself. I mean, you're right, because the cool thing about when you go all the way back to the days of Mork and Mindy, or just anytime you spent time with Robin Williams on screen, is that it all just felt like it was boiling up and just happening in this instant. And that was the great thing about Robin Williams, is it all just felt so in the moment, that idea of improv, that it was just this instant it was coming out of him. And that you're right, this feels like a character that has years and years and years to it, which is cool. I think that's definitely a noticeable difference.
I think so. Yeah. I think that probably the one that I would say incorporates his, well, there's probably two movies that really incorporate his like style of stand-up in the movies. And it's probably Aladdin, and the other one is probably Good Morning Vietnam. Yeah. Have you ever seen Good Morning Vietnam?
Oh, right. Not in years. I probably saw that movie when I was like 12.
Great. It's a great fucking movie, I think. And he gets to do a lot of his, because the idea is he's a radio DJ for soldiers in Vietnam. So while he's talking in between the songs, he does voices, and it's very offensive. It's very 1987 Robin Williams, but it's a really great, I think, performance, and it incorporates his stand-up style really well. And then Aladdin, obviously, because all he was doing was basically riffing, and they were animating around that.
Yeah, I was about to say, and they just animated around it. It was.
Yep. And then
and there's no denying he won an Oscar. He won an Oscar for this performance. This was Robin Williams' Oscar, dude. Like, and again, I am fascinated by the awards bodies. It's not like I put every ounce of clout onto that, but when you think about how fucking cool that is,
dude,
Robin Williams, even as a man who died way before his time, fucking may he rest. Robin Williams easily could have been a man who did 40 or 50 years in the business and then in his 70s got an Oscar. But fuck that. He got an Oscar in 1997.
And I think
or technically in 98, yeah.
Dude, I think it's one of the greatest performances of all time.